Namaste, children. So, in today's class, let us learn about the freedom struggle. Here, children, Indians fought many battles for their freedom. As we all know that they fought against many of the people, many Europeans like Portuguese, Dutch, French, British. They established their trade centers. Later, they started to rule us. And they exploited Indians continuously. Hence, Indians raised their voice against the aggressive policies, injustice, economic exploitations of the colonialists. And they determined to drive away the British from India. And such struggles we have already learned that we will have a look. So, the early protests against the British. We have learned all these children in the previous lessons, but let us see about that. What is it? Okay. Indians, they protested against the British dominance as Mirzafar. You can see Mirzafar here. Mirzafar failed to fulfill the demands of the British. He was dismissed from power. Mirzafar's nephew was Mir Qasim. Mir Qasim was also cheated by the British. And many Anglo-Indian wars took place. Anglo-Mysuru wars, Anglo-Maratha war, and the British also attacked Sikh, Afghan, Nepal, Burmese, and they established their supremacy over the subcontinent. Such struggles happened in Karnataka also. In 1800 CE, Dondiwag revolted against the British, but Arthur Wellesley arrested Wagh with the help of Marathas and Nizams and killed him. In the year 1819 CE, a zamindar named Veerappa of Koppala revolted against the Nizam and was suppressed by the British. Divakara Dikshit and Balaji Deshpande of Sindagi in Raichur revolted against the British and collected the land taxes on their own, and they were arrested and imprisoned by the British. From the year 1824 to 1830, Rani Chennamma of Kitturu of Belgavi district. We have learned more about Rani Chennamma already, children. She waged war with the British and died a warrior's death. And her committed follower, Sangoli Rayana, also did the same thing. He also sacrificed his life for the sake of the country. Revolts had happened in Badami, Bidanur town, and Kodagu. The British could easily contain these revolts and strengthen their power. All these revolts were armed revolts. Many such incidents happened before the First War of Independence. So, now let us learn about the First War of Indian Independence, which took place in the year 1857 to 58 CE. Children, here the year 1857 is a very important milestone in the history of modern India. While the British considered this particular historical event as a mere Sipai mutiny, Sipai means the soldiers who were working under the British were called Sipai. Indian nationalists, they proclaimed it as the first war of Indian independence. See, this war in the year 1857, which took place, took many names as Sipai Mutiny, the Revolt of 1857, and the First War of Indian Independence, like that, many names it took. It was a great war against the British imperialism. Soldiers and citizens fought to remove the British imperialism completely from India. And what were the causes for this? Let us learn, children. The economic system of India had been weakened by the long term rule of the British. People were in utter distress. Farmers were crushed under the burden of heavy taxes. We have learnt all these things in the previous classes. Cottage industries got destroyed gradually. Various occupations which were dependent since generation lost strength and people became resourceless. Thus, they set themselves to fight against the British. The factors that inspired the people to fight can be divided into political causes, economical causes, social causes, religious causes, administrative causes, and military causes. So, now let us learn about the political causes. Many kings and nawabs were under the terms of Lord Wellesley's subsidiary alliance. Yeah, we have learnt the subsidiary alliance, isn't it, children? Yes. Many kings and nawabs were brought under this. And also, we have learnt about Lord Dalhousie's doctrine of lapse. These were dethroned. Satara, Jaipur, Sambalpur, Udaipur, Jhansi, Oudh are the states that were victimized under the policy of doctrine of lapse. In addition, pension of some kings were withheld, the titles of kings were revoked. Naturally, these things disturbed the feelings of ruler as well as the common people of India. The administrative causes. A new administrative system was created where the British officers occupied all the major civil and military posts. So Indians were given only the lower posts. All the higher officials were only Britishers. The role of mediators, that mediators means brokers or middlemen we can call, was too much in the administration, as we have learnt already. The rule of the law resulted in the collapse of social hierarchy. The people did not like English, which became the language of administration in the place of Persian. And the third is the economic causes. Economic causes, the British utilized their political power to loot the economic wealth of India for their profit. Business interest of the British destroyed cottage and other local industries of India. Land revenue policy was exploitative. The status and source of income of talukdars and zamindars were snatched away. There was a huge outward movement of wealth. Commercialization of agriculture made the farmers feeble. Feeble is weak. Terrible droughts of those days took away the lives of many millions of people because there were many droughts and also floods were there. Due to these droughts, many lives of millions of people were taken away. These factors drove India into the pit of poverty. These are all the traditional weaving system which we can see, traditional loom, which were disappeared after the British came. And in the previous lesson, we have learnt about the social and religious causes children. Social and religious factors led to the exploitation of the revolt. British criticized the Indians as primitives who have no culture and civilization. And they used to call Indians as pigs and black people. And Indians were not allowed into hotels and clubs that were under the supervision of the British. At the entrance of these institutions, there used to be boards declaring entry of dogs and Indians prohibited. See that the British had come to India and living in India and they were treating Indians so badly. The attempts by the British to abolish sati system and child marriage and support of widow remarriage made Indians feel that they were unnecessarily interfering in their social life. The arrival of railways irked the high caste Indians. The issue of all travelling in one bogie enraged the upper caste Indians, because as we all know that we had many caste systems and all that prevailed. We have learnt in the social and religious reform movement. So upper caste people, they did not like to travel with all the people in one bogie. Like this, there were many causes, and in the next class, let us learn about the military causes and immediate causes, children. Thank you.